Hey everybody. I didn't really feel like doing a live stream right now, but I thought it was a good idea to do one. So I just had two different people try to crash into me about 5 minutes away from my house, and had some of the same indicators that I've had before. As I'm leaving my neighborhood, have the white and red car waiting right in front of me, blocking me from pulling out onto the road. Usually right as there's a white and red car, they're signaling that they're going to do something to me. So have the white and red car in front of me. As soon as I pull out, driving down the street going 10 miles an hour less than the speed limit, and a black SUV pulls right out in front of me. I missed him by maybe a couple inches, if that. Looks like this guy's from New Mexico. So I'll just leave this on if I think of anything interesting to say. Talk about it, but right now I guess we're just driving. A lot of times when I would do these, I would do them just for documenting. Whoa! Oh, look at that. Got a little traffic jam on the 101 here. So usually when I get the overt stalking harassment, the auto mobbing, is right after I do a bunch of good research, do a lot of tweeting, putting out a bunch of good information, like connecting the fact that two of the places that were being used for child trafficking looked very similar. The building with the dome, on Epstein Island, and the I think it's called the Church of Light, right here on Interstate 10, which I believe is a Catholic church. And the leader of that church, who has ties to Los Angeles and to Mexico, was arrested for 26 different felonies, some of them for child trafficking, some of them for making underage sex films. And both of them have very similar dome on their building. That doesn't mean that they're connected. It just there's a lot of coincidences, a lot of similarities with that. And we know that there's something called the Arizona Mafia that the Department of Homeland Security here in Arizona has been connected to. Jeffrey Peterson used to be a big donor for the Democratic Party, and talks about it a lot. So I put that information out there for not to verify it, because I don't know. What I do is connect a lot of dots and a lot of similarities and put it out there for researchers, citizen journalists to research and help connect more dots. And the more information that goes out, the easier it is to research. There's a guy named John D'Souza. He was a FBI agent and FBI agent for 25 years. He taught other FBI agents how to be good investigators. And he said that by far the best investigators out there right now are the citizen investigators, citizen journalists that crowdsource this information. You know, you've got 10,000 people all with their eye on something, and between those 10,000 people, they've got different points of view, different ways of looking at things, sharing information, connecting dots, and then putting that out there. And then actual intel agents, white hats, got ground level investigators, not leadership, can help put all that together and help figure out cases. So that's what I do. That's what I did recently, is connect those two places together. And I'm actually planning on going to see that guy, John D'Souza, here real soon. I don't want to say exactly what day, but going to go out of town and go hear him speak, hopefully talk to him a little bit. He's talked about Lockheed Martin Skunk Works and individuals that he knows that have given him intel about Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, who my dad used to work for, who I feel is highly likely for part of my targeting. As I've talked about before, my dad used to take me out to work when I was a little kid. I remember going out to Plant 42, which is where they do research and development for things they test out at Area 51. He was a crash fire rescue firefighter out there. And not too long after that, when I was in confirmation in the Lutheran church, I'd have to go into confirmation class. And I'd be in confirmation class, I'd be sitting there drawing flying cars, spaceships on my confirmation booklet. I don't know where that came from. Maybe just a good imagination. Who knows? I don't know. He also worked for Rocketdyne, where they made the motors, the engines for the space shuttle. Been out to that plant too, right there near LA. So there's some kind of connection with the aerospace industry. Lockheed Martin, Rocketdyne. Heard somebody talking about DynCorp the other day. I don't even know what DynCorp does. It seems like a lot of large aerospace corporations, the leadership of those corporations, have something to do with the targeting that's going on. And it slowed down for me for a little while. Because I've just been busy working, not really, well, I've been on Twitter, but I haven't been on YouTube much, making too many videos. I've really been focusing on just work and trying to not get ahead, but just to survive, to stay afloat. And the more I just focus on me and not talk about any of this stuff, the less the harassment is. And then I get a little bit of time to do a little more research, make some more videos, and it starts right back up again, the free theater skit. So it's not like it's happening every single day. Somebody on YouTube, I don't know, it might be a bot, just a troll, I'm not sure, but I get them all the time. And they found one of my original videos that I did back in, like, I don't know, November of 2017. What are we in now? It's August, September? I don't even know. Can't keep my day straight. Coming towards the end of 2019. Yeah, we're in September. So what's it, September 24th or 5th? Anyway. I was going through the worst part of this at that point. I had no idea what was going on. I didn't know what the term targeted individual was. I didn't know that people were retaliated against for speaking out, for observing their freedom of speech. I had no idea. And since then, I've been researching nonstop, trying to figure out what happened in my life, and now I'm very aware of a lot of the techniques, tactics, standard operating procedures that are used to target an individual, to make them appear that they have psychosis. Which, if you look up the definition of psychosis, it's pretty vague and it's open-ended. It says something about how the individual loses grip of reality, and all somebody has to do is lie and say, oh, I didn't do that, that person has psychosis. Well, basically the stalker that is taking part in the organized stalking and harassment just has to lie. Or they have to take part in ridiculous things that no normal rational person could really comprehend. Nobody that thinks normally would think, yeah, people do stuff like this. So we're dealing with psychopathic or sociopathic narcissists that are strategists, and not necessarily just the people taking part in it, but the operators, the strategists, the handlers. Those people have a good imagination, and they're pretty twisted. So when they come up with these skits, these weird things that they do them to where anyone that's never dealt with this kind of thing would say, yeah, that sounds crazy. Who would do that? The people that do this. So I'm still waiting for the FISA declassification. I still think that the Department of Homeland Security was weaponized against patriots and other empowered individuals, people that are intelligent, insightful, empathetic, compassionate, artistic. There's a lot of different traits that a lot of targeted individuals have in common. And some of them are just born into this. If they were trafficked as a child, if they were a victim of satanic ritual abuse, a lot of different reasons. A lot of the JonBenet Ramsey type of kids that were set up as little beauty queens, paraded around for perverted old men. Not even perverted, pretty much rapist old men to Google at, and you know, more than that, we know more now. So so many different kinds of people are targeted, and it's all encompassing. Basically, all of the people involved in doing this are going after all those different types of people, and they're not coming up with all of this on their own. The street level gang stalkers, they're getting orders. You know, that's how our military was going downhill. Good people getting bad orders, bad intel. Anyway, all right. Well, the nonsense on the road here settled down now that I turned my camera on, of course. You know, sometimes I'm forced to do this. I don't really want to record and talk while I'm driving. I don't feel good today. I'm in kind of a bad mood. I'm tired. I've been working my ass off. Spent more money this week than I should have, but for important things. So I'd like to get on here and be a little more upbeat, be a little more positive. But the real world, I just have to get on here and document what's going on. So, yeah, and if you're just tuning in, you know, I do these randomly without notice. If you're just tuning in, the reason I started this is because the patterns that have happened in the gang stalking, usually with me, I'm sure they'll do this differently with a lot of different people. But the patterns with me is they will have a red and white car drive right in front of me, either block me, or they usually be right in front of me, or at the intersection. And then right after that, there's some kind of attempted staged accident. They'll have somebody driving really slow in front of me with their hazards on, and then as I try to get in the left lane, they'll have somebody going like 80 miles an hour in that lane, to where you wouldn't expect that that person would be going that fast, and they want you to run into them. Today, the particular situation that happened, I'm just repeating myself from the beginning of my video since not a lot of people were here. Particular situation that happened, they had the red and white car, and they were blocking me basically. They could have easily gone, and they want me to get irritated and do something stupid, which I don't get irritated anymore, or if I do, I just deal with it. And I pull out, take a left-hand turn, I'm driving down my road, and a black SUV swerves, coming from the other direction, makes a left-hand turn into the police department, actually. Because I live directly across the street from the police department. Takes a left-hand turn right in front of me, and I missed him by inches. So I thought, all right, here we go, I better document this. You know, people drive shitty. Traffic is bad sometimes. It's rush hour right now. But it usually, when I go through this, it usually happens right after I put a bunch of information out, right after I contact somebody, right after I make plans to do something positive to help in this. And just like clockwork, it happened today. All right, so I'm just about to where I'm headed to. It's an interesting place over here. Looks like this is where the train stops, and they unload all of the autoveyors. An autoveyor is a train car that carries cars. It looks like this is the part of Phoenix that they drop all the cars off. They park them in this big parking lot here, and then they drive them from there over to the dealership. But there's like, if I had to guess, 2,000 cars out there, something like that. It's kind of cool. They've all got, well, a lot of them have like the plastic sheath on the side to protect them from getting scratched and stuff like that. Pretty interesting. Let's see, what's one of the other weird things that's happened today? Let's see. Oh, I had a guy driving about 80 miles an hour. Hey, white van. I had a guy driving about 80 miles an hour down my street in front of my house. I live in a quiet neighborhood, like I said, directly across the street from the police department. And as I was watching this John D'Souza video, I was taking some notes. He's talking about Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. And I'm taking notes, getting on Twitter, talking about some things. And right at that moment, guy in a little Nissan or Mitsubishi truck comes driving down my street at, he had to have been going minimum 60, 70, which I don't even know how you get up going that fast in a little truck like that on such a short street. But that's just the kind of the weird stuff that they do with perfect timing, and then when I talk about it, I sound like just some paranoid person. Which I'm gonna keep talking about this because it's people don't need to be doing this stuff. They need to be off the streets and working instead of out driving around trying to cause havoc. All right, I'm out.